question for all of you. Like, as all of us are foreigners, do you think that you actually needed French to survive in France?
Wow, definitely. I remember I had to make a lot of administrative calls. I can't possibly trouble a French person every time I need to get this done. What I would do, I would put Google Translate right in front of me, and I would type in whatever that lady is saying, and I would just do a live translation. And Google Translate it back, read off whatever's on the screen. And yeah, that's how I survived when my French was not to a fluent level.
Yeah, about French, I think it is like after all I survived, right? So like I survived for quite a long time without knowing French. So I think of course you can survive, but to enjoy the life here, to be really part of the city, I think you do need to speak at least with the local people. And in France, like people speak French. People like although they know English, they will always prefer for you to speaking French with them. And I think for any foreigner students, I think there's no better advice than trying to learn French, like than this advice. Like do try your best to learn it. Maybe take your time, but you know, like this is a way that you can feel more comfortable for yourself to live in this country.
It's generally for every country, right?
Generally for every country. Yeah. Mm.
I totally agree. Like learning a foreign language is you need to learn the language to know the culture. It's just how it works. Maybe in the beginning you might face a lot of like roadblocks, but that is how you learn. Like the best way to learn is with thick skin. Just say it anyway. People around you will be happy to, correct you or guide you to the right path. And eventually you're gonna get there.
Absolutely. I think part of going abroad is actually to learn and live in a different culture. So, I personally don't understand people who go to a different country and expect to not learn the local language. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. So for me, like what do you expect to actually get out of your experience if you don't intend to communicate with people in that country? There are friends that we have from school who like ended up not using that much French when they studied in France. And like whenever I talk to them now, they tell me how like whenever they send their resumes and like have job interviews, all the recruiters are gonna see the fact that you studied in French, and they're like, oh, so do you speak French? And it's a very awkward moment that they tell me like now they regret not actually practicing their French because their resume says they studied in France. And it's a very intuitive question for recruiters to be like, oh, so you studied in France and you don't speak French. Like that just doesn't like it says a lot about you, in not very good ways. So I feel like it is yeah, very important for you to learn a language. Like if I study in Bulgaria, I think it is an expectation and like a legitimate expectation that I learn Bulgarian. Like or if I go to China, I should speak Mandarin. It's the same thing. So yes, if you go abroad, be open-minded, and part of that is to learn the local language.
Mm. And who speaks Chinese here?
All of us.
All of them.
举手吧.
Okay, Alfred. Do we need French to survive in France?
Well, that depends on how you want to define survive. If you define survive as getting food, getting a roof, and staying alive, obviously you can do that without speaking any word of French. Um, well, because to get food, you just need to go to the supermarket and get things off the shelf and then pay for it with money. But if you include having a good experience in surviving, then French is totally necessary. The French language is like the only window to the conversations and thoughts of French people. Without French, um, the, the conversations that French people have among themselves will never be accessible to a non-French speaker.
Last question. How is it like having French as your colleagues?
Wow, this requires a lot of thought.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to not miss out on our weekly videos. See you guys.